So we saw the 4 horses, which were Bala, strength, Vivek, that quality of discrimination, Dhamma, self-control, which we spoke about, and the well-being of other people, Parahita. So now today we're going to be doing the reins of the horses, and it's Shama, forgiveness, Kripa, compassion, and Samahita. Samahita is this quality of equipoise. So interestingly, forgiveness is featuring a lot, because in chapter 12, when the descriptions of the bhakta is given, forgiveness came there. In chapter 13, forgiveness is coming again in 2 or 3 weeks. And here also forgiveness came. So I thought, who am I supposed to be forgiving? Yeah, this is a lot of forgiveness coming my way, or a lot of forgiveness coming your way. There's this really nice exercise that a teacher had done. Maybe it was in a monastery or maybe it was in a school. Brought alive the quality so beautifully. So she got the class of students to bring in a bag of potatoes, and then for any person that you are still angry with, you write their name down on one potato. And so some people kept 2 potatoes, 3 potatoes. Some people had like a whole full bag of 8, 9, 10 potatoes. And so she gave them a bag, and you had to keep your potatoes with you everywhere you go. So already that becomes really cumbersome. I remember one teenage camp, we did that. We gave them a brick and they had to carry the brick around with them everywhere they went. And by the end of the day, some of them were quite attached to their bricks. They had named their bricks. They had to say things like, but a bag of potatoes was a better idea because, one, it is inconvenient to carry them around, and you had to just keep carrying them around, and after 2 or 3 days, they start to stink. Yeah. And you're still carrying it around, and that foul smell is going with you everywhere. And we are interesting as humans because we can get used to things, and so we don't even notice the smell after a while, and everyone else is noticing it the minute we walk in. And so it became such a perfect metaphor for what we do emotionally. We don't even realize that, one, we're carrying this burden around with us continuously. It's just always there. Sometimes when people are particularly big and then they lose weight, they'll say, it just feels so much lighter. And that physically, maybe, you can notice it. When you're carrying something and you put it down, definitely you feel relieved of the burden. But emotionally, we seem not to notice it. Because it's just there and we're carrying it around, but it's as much as a physical burden as is when we carry a physical thing. In fact, it might even be more because it makes us scratchy. What does that mean? It makes us like on edge. Because we like this background that I'm angry with this person. And forgiveness is usually I'm angry. Yes, there's a lot of hurt, 100%. There could be a lot of grief, a lot of hurt. But a large part of forgiveness will be I have kept anger towards some injustice that I have felt that has happened to me. Like it's not fair. And so there's this anger. Now, whether it's actually fair or not is a whole different story. But we feel it's not fair. Like sometimes I'll meet families and the kid will be so angry, and it's not fair because, all my friends have iPhone and my parents are not buying it for me. Recently, this 12-year-old girl went off on this maha rant of how every other person on this planet has a phone, but her mother won't give her her phone. And, it's this injustice in life. And after her whole 10-minute rant, I looked at the mother and I was like, well done. Don't give her the phone. And then, of course, I'm also in the bad books. So is it actually fair? Is it actually unfair? It doesn't matter. We hold so much anger when we feel it's not fair. So now, if you go back to those stinking potatoes, and imagine if they burnt you every time, like you pick them up to go to your next destination. And that happens, right? Sometimes when we're angry with someone, every time we see them, it like flares back. Right. So, what is forgiveness? It's letting go of these potatoes that become so heavy and, very importantly, so smelly. And we know when we chant the Trayambakam mantra, Trayambakam yajamahe sugandim, the description of Bhagwan is he is free. And usually in that context, I have explained many times, we smell as per what we think. By what we eat also, no doubt. Physical food will definitely change the way we smell. But we have a personality smell, which isn't quite got to do with food. And that's got to do with our thoughts. And so it's far more tangible than we understand. Because, and again, I'll say this, we incredibly good at climatizing to things. And so we just get so used to this. We don't even notice it's there. And it is said that devatas won't come to this loka because they can really smell us. So when they have to give boots, they're like, oh no, we have to go there. You get a nose plug, come here, give the boon, rush back up. Okay, forgiveness is this quality of letting go of anger. So it's so crucial. Here it's saying it's the reins by which the horses are yoked to the chariot. And, if that string snaps, you've lost control of the chariot. Yeah. If you drive, you would know that sometimes, like when there's ice on the road or there's an oil spill on the road, and you lose control because the wheels skid, oh my God, it's such a horribly scary experience. And most of us are not Grand Prix drivers to know how to deal with the car going everywhere. Like in the movies, they show choom, choom, and they just get control back so quickly. But we don't have that expertise, nor do we have the presence of mind to be able to. So the holding of the string to ensure that I have control over the chariot. And that quality is forgiveness. And so what does that mean? If I don't forgive, I don't have control. Isn't that interesting, huh? That yoking of the horses to the chariot is weak. It's I don't have control over the horses, and so I then don't have control over the movement of the chariot. So, like, because horses are live creatures, they'll go up where they want to go. Unless they being controlled by the charioteer. Okay, in a car, that's not the case because that this they say horses in this chariot of success. And often in the Gita, in the chariot, the horses are our senses, and the senses do go off everywhere and they need to be controlled. But here, forgiveness is not control of the senses. Forgiveness is control of, and this is a nice way to think of it, how much you're going to keep. And in today's world, where we definitely get conditioned to store and keep, we keep far too much. We just keep. Buy, keep. You'll use it sometime. Keep it, keep it, keep it. When people think, when? Or at that time, we'll get it. It's this. So, what is forgiveness? Control over how much you're going to keep. And, importantly, what you're going to keep. So, in the Bhagavatam, there's that beautiful story of Dhruv, that little boy. And the stepmother was so mean to him. You cannot sit on your father's lap and you should have been born as my son. And next birth, you go and do lots of prayers so that you can ask Bhagwan that next life you'll be born as my son. Of course, he was so angry, like any kid. And then you could really see his Kshatriya spirit here, like anger, full force. How dare she? And anger is to indicate unrighteousness, and there was definitely injustice being done here. Like his mother was insulted unnecessarily, and even the position of king is being insulted. Like why she should have so much control of who sits on that throne. The whole dynamics of family and relationships, everything is they're justified. Anger, very, very justified in that. And they're so angry. There's an Indian. Sometimes when kids get angry, it's cute. Here it was fierce. And his mother says to him, take what is good from what she said. What did she say? You don't seem to have control over the situation. Correct. You don't. She has more power over you. Correct. She does have more power over you. Pray to Bhagwan. Correct. We should pray to Bhagwan. Everything else she said, incorrect. Now, even from someone who's insulting you, what are you going to keep? And what are you going to let go? We'll keep hurt. Injustice. How dare they say that to us? But look at Suniti, huh? And her name only means right conduct. It means, is it true? Then keep that. Doesn't matter who says it. Doesn't matter who says it. If it's true, keep that. It's untrue, don't keep it. And then what she said to him, all this anger is not going to get you anywhere. Don't keep it. What will get you somewhere? Devotion, determination. Keep that. So, forgiveness is having very clear thinking. I had my whole avalanche of emotions. We did the whole drama of all the emotions. Now, time to let it all go. Forgiveness is not even saying don't have the emotion, huh? Forgiveness is you've already done the whole drama. Now, let it go. Why? It's not serving a purpose that is conducive to happiness, peace, strength, goodwill, harmony. Yeah. The only thing it's doing, it's ensuring that I stay angry. Now, from emotions, we know many things. First thing we know about emotions, they come and go. They're not meant to stay. So firstly, if an emotion has stayed, already like something is not right. It shouldn't have stayed. It's supposed to come and it's go. Second thing we know about emotions, they're very charged, which means they're very powerful. They can really drive us in a good way and in a bad way, right? Like determination can drive us in such a positive way, which Dhruv does. With determination, he goes into the forest to do tapas to see Bhagwan Vishnu, and it's like, you better turn up, Vishnu. It was like that. It was so single pointed. Yeah. But can also be highly negative, where it's just spiteful. Yeah. And so there's that story that they were two good friends, and always happens you were close, and then some big fight. And then they now hate each other. Now they are each other's nemesis, archenemy. The person that you hate, just live to hate so much. They both decided they're going to do tapas. So they both did tapas. One sat on one tree, the other one didn't want to be anywhere near him. So he went to the other end of the forest and sat under another tree, and they both did. And every now and then they go and check if they're still doing tapas. He's still doing, then I'm also going to still do. So now they actually nudged each other to do so much tapas that Bhagwan had to come. So the one who sat down first to do the tapas, Bhagwan came to that person first. And then Bhagwan said, okay, you can ask a boon. What would you like? And then he says, are you going to go to that person? Bhagwan said, yeah, that person has done as much tapas as you. So I will be going there as well. And very not happy that this person's also going to get boon. This is injustice. And he says, can't you go ask him first and then come back here and then ask me second? Even with Bhagwan, huh? No, cannot. I have come, you ask boon, or you forgo boon. Huh. So he said, now think. And Asuric thinking. So he says, whatever he asks for, give me double. That's the boon I asked for. Okay. So he goes to enemy number 2 and says, you have done so much tapas, please ask for a boon. So this person says, did you go ask him? Hare Ram. Yes, I went and asked him. He's also doing tapas. What did he ask for? He asked that whatever I give you, I should give him double. So angry. Even here, he's trying to cheat. Thinks about it, thinks about it, thinks about it, and then decides. The boon I want. Make me blind in one eye. So spiteful. Emotions can make us so spiteful. They can make us so determined and productive. They can make us so spiteful. They can make us so petty. They can make us so ugly. We've seen in others and we've seen in ourselves. If you haven't seen in yourself, then you please start looking. What is forgiveness? No need to carry this emotion around. This emotion of anger, this emotion of vengeance, this emotion of pettiness, of whatever is making our hearts small and heavy. Forgiveness is letting it go. If you go back to that potatoes, the smelly potatoes, if I get rid of that bag of smelly potatoes, am I doing the other person a favor? Until you forgive that, it's still with you. And then each person you keep adding to that. You're not doing them any favor when you forgive them, but you're doing yourself. You're relieved of carrying that burden and you're relieved of that horrible smell. So the first thing we should know is forgiveness is for us, not the other person. Because many times people do not forgive because they feel that means the other person will get away with it. So I refuse to forgive them. But we have no idea when and where they will meet what they need to meet. It's not like we'll be there when they have to get the consequences of their action. But we will 100% be there when we get the consequences of our actions. And us holding on to hurt, us holding on to anger will 100% have consequences. Yeah. And we think, no, they did this to us. And so why should I be having consequences? But I am doing every moment of every day when I am continuing to be angry or I am continuing to be, all the avalanche of emotions I have when I don't like someone. And so often we feel this person has hurt me, and so my anger is protecting me, but it's not. Our anger is not protecting us. Our anger only hurts us. And then we think the anger will hurt them, so they don't keep hurting me. It doesn't hurt them. Sometimes, but usually, no. Because when we get angry with them, they just get angry back with us. And so, how is it keeping you safe from them? It's not. It doesn't help justice get delivered It doesn't keep you safe from getting hurt from them. This is the reasons we don't want to forgive, right? We want to protect ourselves so that they don't hurt us again. So if you do want to protect yourself, we can do actions. But emotions won't protect you. The only thing that can actually protect you is clear, rational thinking. An emotion will not protect you. They're very strong. But unless we know how to channelize them, they're not very useful. And if we've learned how to channelize them, we would have also learned how to forgive. Because part of channelizing an emotion is knowing how to let it go. So they're incredibly strong, but they're not always serving us and protecting us. Okay, so what is forgiveness? Understanding that holding on is not serving any purpose whatsoever. Only we hurt ourselves and make ourselves more and more upset. And the thing is, we upset with them for doing that action that hurt us, which was one action, maybe 2, 3, 4. Chalo, 5. They will get 5 consequences. We rethink it, rethink it, rethink it 357 times. We get 357 consequences. Where's the justice in that? And who's responsible for this injustice? Me, because I thought it 357 times. So consequence will come to me. Consequence won't come to them because the consequence will only go to the person who did the action. What action they did? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe. That consequence they will get. But when? when they'll get that consequence? I want to be there to see justice being served. You know how many times I'll meet people who will wish for such a thing? And then when it comes true, it's so incredibly big. Because pain is pain. When you see someone suffering, you cannot possibly get joy from it. You just can't. So we might think we want to see justice being served, but actually it's Bhagwan's compassion. Let everyone get the consequences of their action when they have to get it. We don't have to see. What's important for us to remember is we will get the consequence of our actions, and every single thought we think is an action. And so if our thoughts are hateful, if our thoughts are angry, if our thoughts are insensitive, that whole range of emotions we feel when we feel offended by someone, then all those consequences keep coming until I let go of that anger. So letting go of that anger is step one. Underneath anger will always be hurt. So if you look at the definition of anger, when I don't get what I want, anger. I wanted you to like me, you don't like me. I wanted you to be cooperative, you're not cooperative. I wanted you to understand what I am feeling, you don't understand what I'm feeling. Anger, right? And then what's the definition of sadness? When I don't get what I want, right? Boy liked girl or girl liked boy, went and gave rose on Valentine's, said, no, sorry, cannot. Then cry. Why? Didn't get what I want. Sad. Applied for job, applied for university, applied for 300 gazillion things. And then sadness. Yeah, maybe anger, not necessarily, highly unlikely. Yeah, it will be sadness. But what was anger? I didn't get what I want. What was sadness? I didn't get what I want. So underneath anger will always be sadness. And so what is forgiveness? First and foremost, let go of the anger. So now I can deal with sadness. What should I do with this sadness? Firstly, please be sad. Why? You cannot bypass this emotion. But, please, this but is very big. But, let it go. That's what you said about anger. Correct. What is forgiveness? Letting it go. And what's the it? First, let go of anger. Then you will be in sadness. Because whatever it is you didn't get, the person's affection, the person's love, the person's attention, the person's or promotion or money or whatever it is you didn't get. Now you said you didn't get it. Now let go of being sad. This is actually the harder part of forgiveness. People will think letting go of the anger is hard. No, no. Anger is just the front. It's the self-protect mechanism that doesn't let me see my own sadness. See your sadness. See that you are hurt and you are feeling pain. And that is why you are holding on. And actually, when you look at your sadness, you will realize there's a small part of you that still wants what? Love, getting along, peace, success, attention, whatever it is you want, which all of us want. And then you have to let it go. Let what go here now? Wait. First I have to let go of sadness. Now what I have to let go of? Wanting it. The thing that made you sad, that you didn't get. Let go of wanting it. I have to let go of wanting love from this particular person. Somebody else will love you. Guaranteed somebody else will love you. This particular person, maybe they even do love you, huh? But not in the way you want them to love you. Like if we go back to girl, boy proposing, be my boyfriend, be my girlfriend. I really like you. Can we still be friends? No. Like they still love you, but not you. Not the type of love that I want. No, but we can still be friends. No. So they might actually love you, but not in the way you want. Okay, not even just a romance, even with parents, with siblings, with spouses. You want them to love you this way. Which way? Whatever. We all have our own quirks. They might actually love you, but not in that. So maybe they don't love you, which is fine. Let go of wanting them to love you. And maybe they do love you, but not in the way you want them to love you. So then take the love. Remember what I started with saying? Know what to keep. They loving me, but not in the way I want. Doesn't matter. Know what to keep. Keep the love. Let go of. It has to be this way. So where in forgiveness am I losing anything? I'm losing anger, pain, and desire. Good losses, no? These are good losses. Where am I gaining? A stink-free zone. I smell better. This is also a good thing. Plus, I'm freed of carrying this burden around. But what do I really gain when I get forgiveness? Control. Huh? Because this yoke joining the charioteer to the horse. And if that yoke is not working, I have no control over the horse. And so I have no control over where I am going. Now, if you think of life, where do I want to go? Peace, happiness, love. And then what am I thinking about? This person is a good for nothing who hurt me. Where am I going? I'm going to anger. I'm going to the past. I'm going to pain. I'm going to suffering. I'm going to blame. I'm going to vengeance. I've got no control. Where do I want to go? Happiness, peace, love, balance, uplifted, nobility. I'm not in control. My mind is off on a tangent because I am still stuck in anger and hurt and desire. I cannot move forward when I'm stuck in anger, hurt, desire. I cannot have control over a situation when I'm stuck in anger, hurt, desire, because I don't have energy. Anger is taking up so much energy, hurt's taking up so much energy, desire is taking up so much energy. Yeah. So I don't have control of the situation outside, and I have no control over myself. Because I'm giving into that anger and I'm giving into that hurt. And I'm refusing to acknowledge the desire. Very often in forgiveness, I'm refusing to acknowledge that that desire is still there. Choosing to be blind, choosing to be ignorant. And then we'll say, no, I'm not. This is just normal. If somebody hurts you, it's normal to be upset. Yes. 5 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour. Okay, if what they did was really bad, 1 month. Done. I really pulled it. I was saying 1 week. I was going to say 1 week. And then I thought, okay, 1 month. then we have to get on with it. On with what? Healing. That's what we have to get on. Healing. Otherwise, we stay stuck. And in stuck, we're not empowered. We've given our power to the person who has hurt us because we stay hurt. And so it's interesting because I'm so angry with them and I'm so upset with them that I am giving them the power. I want justice to be served, but I'm only giving them the power. they still control how I feel. Shouldn't I control how I feel? So their face should not determine how I feel. Them being in the room or not being in the room should not determine how I feel. If their face or their being in the room or not being in the room does determine how I feel, they have the power. What is forgiveness? Taking power back. I let it go. What? Anger, hurt, desire. I let it go so that I now have power over my own mind and then over my own situations. In forgiveness, it's very important that I understand what I'm hurt about. Sometimes people will talk to me about something that has happened and they'll say, but they shouldn't behave like that. And I'll say, like what? Like that. So rude. Not specific enough. Why? Because if you don't understand exactly what you're feeling, you won't know what to let go. So forgiveness only works when you're super clear on what you hurt about. What you angry about and what you desired. Because we're not letting go just of the emotion. We're letting go of what caused the emotion. Because emotions come and go. We held onto it. Why? Because of that one action, incident, characteristic. And so that cause has to be identified. The cause of what the emotion is what has to be forgiven. And so you can't say, I forgive them for being them. It's too vague. Has to be specific. Like in cases where, infidelity, then I forgive them for cheating on me. No, it has to be more specific. What hurt? That they cheated on me. It has to be made me feel not good enough. Made me feel unwanted. Made me feel disrespected. It has to be so specific. Only then we get deeper in forgiveness. So that's the other thing we have to remember about forgiveness. Forgiveness is layered, right? That's why I said anger on the top, hurt at the bottom, desire and the cause of desire at the bottom. So we also have to know which layer we're working from. And knowing that we only have gone that deep. The deeper we have gone in our understanding of what it is we are feeling, the deeper we can go in forgiving it and letting it go. Otherwise, I hear people say, I'm forgiven. And even in the very tone of their voice, you can hear the anger and the hurt. That's all water under the bridge now. But and I'm not saying they haven't forgiven. I'm saying it's layered. Next layer has to still get forgiven. Because we have to accept that we're feeling it and we're thinking it. And sometimes we're too ashamed of what it is we are feeling and thinking. We feel, how can I be so weak that I feel this? And so, like I said, so much unnecessary thoughts in judging myself also. Or I couldn't have been that dumb to fall for this maybe con or maybe this person or this, like we can't accept that I was so dumb that I fell for it. But I fell for it. So there's layers. And so forgiveness is about having control over my own emotions and keeping the power with me. But forgiveness is also about clarity, understanding myself, and what I want. Now, we all want love, happiness, peace, but the way we go about it is different. And so understanding that association of thought, that I associate this with success, therefore happiness. I associate this with love, therefore feeling of safe. I associate this with fulfillment and therefore peace. And that association of thought might be highly incorrect. Or it can be, what's the word? Editable. Not terribly wrong. Maybe it can be a little bit flexible. But in my head, I haven't made it flexible. So my understanding of that, my associated thoughts, what I have linked to the feeling of hurt, what I have linked to the feeling of love. And so your forgiveness now is, wow, such a big job. Really, forgiveness is. Like discipline was easy. Don't eat, just don't eat. I'm hungry. Don't eat. So easy. But you're really, really hungry. Don't eat. Discipline, sorted, done, simple. Even courage is looking very simple. I'm scared. Just go. What's the worst that can happen? Courage is looking easy. Forgiveness is preparing a buffet, not reheating toast. It's a big job. Why? Because it gives us back our power. We can only have our power when we have this clarity of thought about ourselves. Otherwise, our power is, we're not wielding it in the fullness of it. When they teach kids like swords or even tennis or everything, you have to get them smaller rackets. Because if you give them the big one, they don't know how to wield it. And we don't have clarity of thought. We don't have that strength to be able to wield our power, even though we might have a lot of power. And then you see sometimes when people hit and then it hits like it comes back and it hits you. So often we do this, right? We think we're whacking someone else, but dang, it comes back to hit us only. Mm. Oh, we slam the door on the other person. When we don't have clarity of thought, this is what we're doing. We have this incredible power, and we're not wielding it in masterfully or elegantly or effectively. Only when we have this clarity of thought do we know how to wield it, and we wield it well. And we have, every single one of us has so much power. Every single mind is so strong. So, Shama. So I'm forgiving them so I can set myself free. I got hurt, and I'm letting go of my hurt. Maybe I'm letting go of them also. Sometimes not needed, sometimes needed. That clarity I leave for you to figure out. But I'm also forgiving because I make so many mistakes. I think anyone who's a parent can attest to how many mistakes you make a day. So many, right? Or in any kind of relationship. Like sometimes there's these farms. Farms are things to contemplate on. If you were to relive today, what would you do differently? Nice, not to think about it. Just today, if you had to relive, what would you do differently? Nothing. Smile more. Maybe not rush a conversation that you rush. Maybe be a little bit more patient, even with yourself. It's a good activity to do. If you could relive today, just today, what would you do differently? We make mistakes. Maybe not big ones, but we make those also. Intentionally, unintentionally. And then we want forgiveness. How to ask for it if we cannot give it? If I'm going to ask for it, I have to also be able to give it. And for sure, there are things that we have all done. Small, big, knowing, unknowing, where we will ask forgive. In our culture, we don't even wait for a person to die. Usually, end of any trip. Now we don't do it as much. Before, people would travel from village to village to visit each other. When you're leaving, because you don't know when you'll see each other again, you'll say, Bulchuk, maaf kij, right? Which means any mistake I made, please forgive. In those Korean dramas I've seen, in their culture, they do it at funerals. The person who's died, they say, please forgive me. Anything I might have done. No need to wait till death, then ask for forgiveness. Of course, if you didn't ask before, ask then. It's a very healthy part of grieving. We're going to ask, right? In case I did anything, please forgive me. And, you know, people will say it with the sweetest and the most sincerest sentiment. Often they'll say, if I've stayed in somebody's house or that, they'll still say it. People will still say it. It's gone down significantly now. Actually, we really should keep saying it. Such a beautiful part of our culture. Should make it one of the best. Usually Holi is about that. Holi is about asking forgiveness. But you don't make a big scene about it. You just take the color. You look at that person and it's kind of saying, sorry, let's just be friends now. And then you throw. And if they like, okay, all's forgiven, they throw back. Holi is actually that. Like putting past behind us. Now today it's become one big rave jam party. Pata nahi what they do, drunk, this thing, that thing, cha. What's it supposed to be? Forgiveness. Celebrating forgiveness or celebrating spring. Either one. Because I will also ask one day. And we want, never mind another person. We want Bhagwan to be congratulated that we'll be forgiven and we'll be accepted. And so why do we forgive? Because we also need forgiving. And we also want acceptance. Now in forgiving, you might not love them. Maybe it's just you let go of your hurt, you let go of your pain. Very good. If you can get to the point of, now I wish you well, then forgiveness is complete. But even if you can't get to the point of, and now I wish you well, at least anger and pain, let go. Desire will start working. Clarity of thought and understanding who I am. Forgiveness makes us rich because it gives us power, gives us clarity, gives us peace. We'll pause here for today. Any questions?
So we've talked about forgiving others, but there are people who struggle to just forgive themselves.
Yeah, forgiving ourselves. Same thing applies. What was your desire? Why are you angry? Why are you sad? It's the same methodology. That because it's so close, we find it harder. Can't forgive myself for hurting you, but I've hurt me only. Right? I love you and I didn't want to hurt you, so hurting you hurt me only. And I understand that. That's why I'm so angry with myself. But then it's a vicious cycle. Lost power completely. Get power back.
Sometimes it's like, mother-in-law always trying to correct the daughter-in-law, saying like, this is wrong. And then they're angry because the daughter-in-law, the child doesn't do things the way they want to. They don't see it necessarily as there's something to forgive.
Never mind somebody else. Never mind anybody. You can't make anybody else forgive. If you are angry, you need to forgive. If you are hurt, you need to forgive. Why am I angry? They didn't listen to me. Forgive them for not listening to you. Why are you hurt? Because they didn't listen to you. Forgive them because they didn't listen to you. What's your desire? They should listen to me. Let go of desire. And I promise you, nobody listens. So you can just save your breath. Or talk to yourself to remind yourself what's important. Nobody else listens.
What if something happens to someone which is not like in their power, like as in something, like say if someone's walking, right, and then they slip and they get fractured or something. So would you forgive in that? Like you can't forgive yourself because you didn't do it. It just happened. Like
Circumstances.
Circumstances. Forgive circumstances.
Yeah.
Because that is part of life.
Yeah.
It's not like God created that. Like
Maybe when you forgive God. Whatever you believe. If you believe it's God's fault you slipped and fractured your leg, then you please forgive God.
Circumstances.
Circumstances, then you forgive circumstances. Mm.
So it doesn't have to be a person, it could just be.
Mm. Yeah, it doesn't have to be a person. Like during the war, so much hurt and so much circumstances. And then, yeah, you can be angry with God, you can forgive him. And then there's acceptance. Now, you're more powerful than me, so I have to accept your will. Also, clarity of understanding. If it's actually God's will, it would never hurt us. But was it God's will, or was some desire there from me? Because our minds are powerful. Yes.
What's the first step to
Forgiveness. Let go of anger.
Someone had told me to see something good. To be
You can hold on to one good thing in the person. But it has to be a choice. How do you get rid of anger? Choose. Like when you're clearing out the house, take the book, choose. Throw, give away. You're choosing, right? To give it away. Has to be a choice. I choose to let go of anger. I choose to let go of pain. And if I choose to do it, I'll figure out how. But there's no how. How to let go of it? Let go. There's no how. They give some haircut. Then come back. Move it. But look, you figure it out, right? When you want to do something, you'll do it.
Any easy.
I think that's the way. That's the only way.
There's no easy in life. Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkhapat bhavet, asato ma satgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma mritangamaya. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Hari Om Shri Hari